Suresh, it's been great working with you over the last few months. Really interesting project. And for the audience who may be less familiar with you, would you like to tell us a bit about yourself and the team at UTS?
So I'm Dr. Suresh Sood, and I get the job of analysing online, essentially in Twitter, in Facebook, wherever, stories that consumers, everyday people are telling, not only in Australia but around the world.
Tell us about the basics of the analysis that you did for the datafication project.
Some very special software was developed, particularly for this project, for use by the team, and that software itself comprises filters, basically words that represent the psychological state of the individual when they're tweeting, and separates out those psychological state words from the actual content itself, which can be analysed at a later stage. We're able to take the words that normally would be thrown away that connect with the individuals that are doing the tweeting and tell us at that moment in time when they tweeted what was their psychological state, what was their unconscious really about to lurch into.
There are, I think, 13 different archetypes that relate to both consumers and to brands, different kinds of people with different motivations. But when you did your analysis, it was very clear that what we were getting was 3 archetypes that dominated in particular, and those 3 are the caregiver, the lover, and the jester. And if we understand what drives those people, we actually understand what drives sharing and following and retweeting behaviour on Twitter. Tell us about each of these archetypes.
The archetype represents the human interaction that humans resonate with. We're almost in human pilot when we enact out the lover and so forth. But what is more important is marketeers, rather than focusing on just advertising, is we get insights into the unconscious nature of humans. You can enact out the story, so then it is not a sell of a product or service by the marketeer. It is essentially allowing the enactment of a story. And I, as an individual consumer, will play a part in that, an appropriate archetype. When we analyse the jester, basically, we get a lot of information and a lot of words reflecting a fun lifestyle, photographs that reflect a fun lifestyle. So as an archetype, what we're doing is we're appealing to ambitions, aspirations. So we need to either share some imagery or share something that will resonate with the carer. So for instance, the success of the electronic coupons we get in our mail, on our mobile phones, these discount coupons. If we get something that's meaningful to a friend first thing in the morning, we will forward, for instance, a car wash to family, friends, to show our caring nature, the fact that we have already, before the day started, imparted some information that's of value. So we need to provide the opportunities for the carer to engage, and that's key. So I think the lover is actually very straightforward in that through the ages, this archetype hasn't really changed. Seduction, great food, all of this style of imagery, whether it's in words or whether it's expressed in images, essentially creates interest from the lover.
Why is this analysis important? How does it help marketers? How does it help demystify social media?
Life is just too busy and messy to merely blast a message across the bows. Therefore, if we know there are a group of carers, then as a non-profit, for example, we can approach those carers and essentially enlist their help within our appropriate product or service or cause. And in that way, once we start to understand the archetype, we can work with them and engage with them with the appropriate messaging. So it is about knowing who your audience is, but treating that audience in a manner that they're human. They actually interact. Because for the first time in history, through social media, any business, even if they have not previously had a direct relationship with a human, they can today. And that's what makes it really exciting. And for Australian brand owners, what this means is that we can position and actually give our brands, if you like, a personality of that type to which our consumers will be attracted accordingly.